Okay, we are live
We're live.
for the second time. Sorry.
Take two.
Take two.
From the top.
Now all those things, they're still firsts, but this is the second time we talked about them because I'm using different technology than we normally use. But so the first is that I'm not in Iowa, and you're not Bridget.
No.
So,
I mean, I'm just as crazy as Bridget, but in other ways.
exactly. You are my bestie from a long time ago.
Yeah.
And still currently, like, not just back then. We've just known each other a long time. Amanda Cooper, welcome to Flickin' Beans.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be
We're
here.
excited. This is my first guest episode.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a good one.
Yes, and you're also going to be featured on Nomadic Influence
Woo-hoo.
with this, too.
On
As
video,
like a crossover.
my hair is windblown.
It's all right. They're going to be looking at the video that I took off of the movie.
Okay.
So that's really going to distract them.
Okay, good. I didn't even bring my makeup on this trip because I was like, nah.
Screw it. I'm on vacation.
Exactly. I've learned that if I just glue some eyelashes on, that I don't really need it. That's all I need.
That's a good pass.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
I call this business casual.
You heard it here first, kids.
Yes.
This is
When you just wear your eyelashes,
Wendy,
but no makeup.
Wendy 101.
Anyway, so we are on me and my husband are on vacation visiting you
Yes.
because you're currently parked in Galveston, Texas.
Yeah. I mean, I live a permanent vacation life.
Right.
I live in an RV and travel full time. So to
Mhm.
me, every day is a vacation.
Yeah, okay. So shout out to your handles real quick so people can find you.
There's just one, but I'm on multiple channels.
Okay.
So Fly the Coop RV,
Mhm.
and that's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So you can catch me on any platform that you feel most comfortable in.
Excellent.
But yeah, we just we record on our travel life.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, I can tell you this rig is not ugly. This is a very fancy new rig that, yeah, man, this is definitely bigger than some apartments I've had.
Yeah.
Like, you have a sectional in here, which blows my mind. So it's almost your birthday.
Yes.
I won't tell anyone how old
I
you
don't
are.
care. I'm embracing it at this point. Turning 40, and I'm calling it fuck it 40 because I am literally like, screw it. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care what anybody says. I'm just gonna embrace being 40 and leave it at that.
Yeah, man, 40 is pretty cool, actually. I mean, I speak as someone who's been 40 for 4 months now. 3 months?
I was going to say.
3 months now. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's cool.
Got 3 whole months on me, and it's so much more wisdom.
I know. I know that you really do relish when you get to tell people that I'm older than you. You're like, well, I'm not 40 yet. My bestie's so much older than me.
Yeah.
Those 3 months.
Those 3 months they've changed me. I've seen the other side.
Well,
it's worth it.
it's pretty cool over here, I will say. Yeah, you really do kind of start to get a I don't give a fuck attitude because, you know, most of our life, especially up until this point, has been very focused on like being sexy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're expected to like look a certain way and be a certain way, especially if you're single. And then you hit 40 and you're just like, especially if you're in like a committed relationship like we are. You're like, I'm with somebody that loves me no matter what. I don't need to be like fucking worrying about it.
Yeah, he sees me in sweatpants every single day.
Exactly.
So guess what? You're going to see me in more sweatpants.
Exactly. And you know, who are you impressing when you're out anyway?
Yeah, we're not really.
Yeah, at the same time, like I think we both have like started to have a little bit more fun with our fashion, like wearing brighter colors and things like that.
Things that are more just about comfort and
exactly and fun rather than flattering or
uncomfortable and
yes,
but pretty or sexy, whatever.
Right? Yeah, fuck all that. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Which is funny, but considering the movie we chose. But before we get to that, let's talk about what's in your cup.
What's in my cup? Oh my gosh, this is so. Here in Galveston, one of the best coffee shops on the island is literally just up the street from us called Seawall Coffee. And not only do they have pastries and breakfast and lunch, but they also serve the most amazing coffee. They are closed today because today is technically Monday, and we did go out to brunch with them before this. So because they had the day off, I got a bag of their coffee. This is their Flicka homebrew, and I mixed that up today. And then I added a little Cooper Kick, which is this Cooper's Mark caramel flavored bourbon whiskey. So we have our coffee at 4 p.m. on a Monday with bourbon whiskey in it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I like it. This is the first time that I've been drunk on the podcast. Because we normally...
Sunday mornings.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm normally, I'm like a cup of coffee deep. Bridget brings me a cup of coffee, and then we get into it. So we're highly caffeinated.
Yes.
But
Well,
not
just
usually intoxicated.
Well,
Although I'm not against it. Like, it's just that,
you just haven't done it yet.
we have things to do, you know?
Well,
Getting drunk on a Sunday morning isn't always in the cards.
But see, again, with your first. It's a vacation. You're in Galveston.
Evening.
It's evening. It's a Monday, not a Sunday. It's me instead of Bridget. It's whiskey instead of...
I have to say, this is very, very good, and I'm probably going to be really off topic. But that's fine. So, the movie that we picked is one that we kind of, like, latched onto early on in our friendship when we were living together.
Right.
We used to be roomies, and we watched this movie randomly. Or one of us watched it and said, oh my gosh, like, you need to watch this with me.
I think it was you. I think you saw it first. One of those, like, just, you were trying to find background noise because you work from home already. This was before it was a thing.
Yeah.
You were a pioneer in the
that's true. I've been
online work from home industry for a while.
It's true. I've been working from home, either freelance or full time, since 2012. Which, full circle, is when this movie was made. We probably didn't see it till later.
No, it was later.
Yeah.
It was like 2017 or something when we saw it. But
yeah, I think it had a short stint on Netflix, and we saw it. And
yeah, and we're like, you have to watch it. So the movie is called
For a Good Time, Call. There's a comma in it. I don't know why. I need to say that, but it's there. Also a ... on the when they put it up on the screen. It had a ...
Yeah.
But they don't give you the phone number.
No.
But not in the title. They do give you the phone number
in the commercial.
In the commercial that they make later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So backing up, we'll get to that part. It's a movie about two girls who hate each other because of one rough interaction they had in college, and they're like still in their early 20s. Like, I want to say they're probably like 25.
Yeah.
And they both find themselves in a situation where they need a roommate, and one of them is already a sex phone operator, which the other girl did not like when she first found out.
No.
She's a little bit more like
she's very traditional.
Yeah.
Like, her parents are in the movie too, keep dropping by, and they're very strict. They're very, sex is not something you talk about. It's not something you even discuss, or, just very uptight, super conservative family. And you can tell she's brought up in that. So she just carried that forward into college. And she had a breakup with her boyfriend and her boyfriend broke up with her, stating that she was boring.
Right.
Like, that's the reason why she's now in a situation where she needs a home, because she's so boring.
Yeah. He kicks her out and goes to Italy.
Yes. And then she moves in with this girl who's already a phone sex operator.
Right. And they don't like each other because she spilled pee on her.
Well, I mean, that's a fair reason not to like somebody.
Right. But which is worse? The fact that she picks her up from a college party. Well, they're Katie and Lauren.
Yes.
And like all good bestie movies, one of them's blonde and one's brunette, because you can't have two of the same. And the brunette, Lauren, picks up Katie because they have a mutual friend, and Katie's very drunk and has to pee. So she pees in a big gulp, and then they hit a bump. Or they don't. I don't know. That's a point of contention.
That's a point of contention.
And, so Katie spills pee all over Lauren. And Lauren is so pissed that she makes her get out in a scary neighborhood.
In a very scary neighborhood.
So she's pissed. So Katie's pissed at Lauren for leaving her out for dead, basically. So which do you think is worse?
Woo-hoo! Coffee break! Let's talk about our beans.
Hey Bean Flickers, have you followed us yet? We are on Instagram and Facebook at Flickin' Beans Pod. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave us a review.
Oh, I think leaving her out in the scary neighborhood is worse.
I agree.
Although getting jumped on with pee in her car, and she said it was like a new car too.
Yeah,
and
she had just bought
she
it.
had just bought it, and then now there's pee all over it, and now you got to clean it out. I would be pissed too. I don't know. In that situation, I don't know what I would do. I mean, if it was you, I'd be like, "Fuck, when do you just fucking got pee all over me?" But it's you. But if it was like somebody like a complete
That you just
stranger
met.
I just met, or I, didn't really want to be. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a good first impression.
No.
But I do like her line. Katie screams when she's on the curb as Lauren's pulling away, and she's like, "Yarn is sterile," which is totally something that I would say. That's how I would plead my case.
You plead your case. You're in a sterile.
Sterile. Like, what do you want? It's fine.
Mhm.
Some people even drink pee as a medicine. I mean, I don't.
Wow, we're not getting
I'm
off
not
tangent at all.
I'm not part of that crew, but I'm just saying. There's worse things than pee.
Yeah, there is.
Like
worse.
like getting raped in a scary neighborhood. But
Yeah, that's definitely worse. So now it's fast forward, and they got to live together.
Mhm.
And Lauren can't. She also not only gets broken up with, she also loses her job.
Yes.
So she is put in a position where she either can go back into corporate life, or she can try to help her newfound roommate make a business on her own,
Mm-hmm.
doing phone sex operation versus doing it through an agency that's taking
Right.
most of the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she has a job interview, and basically they say that they're not going to be looking for 3 more months, so it might be
Mhm.
3 more months before she could possibly get another job. She decides she'll just try out the phone sex industry.
Right. And initially she's like, "This is gross," and then she's like, "You're getting screwed working for that agency. I'll help you set up a business. And
Yes.
I want a percentage since I came up with the idea, and I'll help you with the business stuff."
Yes.
And then they have a little terrorist attack.
Oh my God.
This tiny little woman who
I've seen her in other things, and I'm
I
trying
was
to
just gonna say that
remember
too. We should have looked that up.
who she is.
Tiny little thing, and she has the sweetest little like baby voice. And they tell her she can't do pedophilia stuff, but she does all these like really weird kinky things on the phone, and then you find out that she's actually there to like sabotage them.
Yeah, she's very religious, and she's there to sabotage the whole.
Mhm. So at the end of her telling all these guys to do really weird things like eat their dog's kibble, then she goes, "You're going to hell if you don't accept Christ," and then she hangs up.
I saved so many people
I
today.
saved so many souls today. So yeah, after they find out she can't be their employee, then Lauren, the conservative, is like, "I might be able to do this."
I might be able to learn. So she learns how to be a phone sex operator.
Yeah.
And
Her first call is a threesome with Seth Rogen.
oh yes. Oh well, that was one of the things that I forgot about
Yeah,
the movie.
all
This
the
is why we
cameos.
watched it. Speaking of first for Flickin' Beans,
Mm-hmm.
let me try this again. We rewatched the movie right before we did the recording since it'd been so long.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot all of the cameos that are in it. Like, one of the first scenes that you actually hear of Katie doing what Katie does on the phone, she's actually the taxi cab driver that she's doing it with on the
Mhm.
other line is Kevin Smith.
Right.
And then when they do the threesome, Seth Rogen is a pilot, and he's sitting in a bathroom stall in an airport taking a dump and masturbating at
Right.
the same time and
And-
calling them on the phone sex line.
Neither of them have any shame about it.
No.
Because
Like-
Seth Rogen tells the guy that a guy comes in and goes, we need to take off. And he's like, "I'm jacking off in here. Can't you just delay the flight?" And you're like, I wonder how many flights I was delayed by
Well-
Seth Rogen in the world just because he was taking a shit and jacking
He was
off.
trying to jack off at the same time. Well, I thought it was funny because when they start, they're like, oh, they want a threesome, and then they pan out, and it's the two of them together, and you see it clips over to Seth Rogen. You can tell he's in a bathroom stall. I think he's just doing that on the phone. Then they get together, they put them on speakerphone. They start getting all sweet and like romantic, and then he goes, I'm just sitting here in a toilet stall, like jacking off and taking a dump at the same time. And they don't even skip a beat.
No.
They just go right into, let's keep going. And I'm just like, what is happening right now?
I suppose like a certain time in that profession, nothing surprises you anymore.
Well, I mean, she did say when she was coaching Lauren on it, she's like, just whatever they say you want to lick it.
Right.
Or whatever they want to do, say you want to do it harder. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, you just get to the point where you roll with everything so normally.
Yeah, it's like improv.
Yeah.
Like everything's yes and.
And
You don't ever say no. You just say yes and. Yes and I'm licking you. Yes and I like that.
yeah, where do you want it?
Right.
You just say the same things over and
Yeah.
over. So, this movie, it seems so ridiculous as a concept,
Mm-hmm.
but the way that they put it together is actually really well done.
Yeah. I will say, like, I'm going to read you a review from Rotten Tomatoes because
Okay.
I think well, there's two I want to read you, but
Okay.
I think this really sums it up well in the fact that, like, what this movie really is that this is from Kevin Carr, whoever that is. Shout out to him. Sure. There's some ribald humor, and the subject matter is clearly edgy. However, it's really a sweet story of friendship wrapped in a sexy package.
Yes.
Yeah. And then this one says, brisk, funny, and sweetly raunchy.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Those-
would
yeah.
say that. Yeah.
And I think probably one of the, reasons that this maybe appeals to us is because it's a buddy comedy for sure.
yes.
And then also, like, we met, just
Yeah.
like me and Bridget
Yes.
also met, just selling sex toys. That's how we met. So we have kind of a similar background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar, and at a point where you're really trying to come into your life.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm. It's
we
like,
were all, I mean, you and I, we were in our 20s. They were about their age,
yeah, about
honestly.
that age, yeah. Mhm.
And we were also struggling with our, corporate jobs, trying to live that life that
Mhm.
everybody told us was the right one. And then, but also trying to figure out who are we, because we've basically gone from our home, where parents, to college. Now we're out on our own and we're trying to survive, and you don't have money for shit. So
Yeah.
you get creative.
Mhm.
And it's crazy that the friendship that comes out of it, that not only spawns to a business that becomes something even bigger than itself. And that was definitely, there's a lot of remnants of our own friendship
Yeah.
into that.
For sure. I agree. And I love, like, I've always felt, and I don't, you can agree or disagree with me, but I feel like we probably have similar viewpoints on this, is that I've always kind of felt like women aren't allowed to, like, express their sexuality without being, like,
Categorize as something.
yeah, as a whore, and, like, her parents do this for her too. But it's like, nobody ever blames the guys that are fucking calling.
Yeah.
The guy, like, everybody's like, oh, she can't, now that version would be like an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, she's just, selling her body. She's going to regret that later. What about if she decides to have kids or whatever? And you're like, okay. But, like, that wouldn't exist except that men watch and pay for it.
Yeah.
So, like, why are you getting mad at her
Yeah.
for getting that bag?
Well,
Guys are going to want this stuff no matter what. Like, let them go get their money. Shit.
well, and it's funny though, because you look at it now and you're like, they were just doing it over the phone.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like they were at the bar, they were hookers,
Mhm.
or, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with any of that either. I
Right.
just, if it's your own choice, but,
Mhm.
But yeah, they're just over the phone doing it. And I think there's a lot of things now, like there's a lot of cam girls, there's a lot of OnlyFans things, and it's all online. Like this is their choice. And also guys are watching it and paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it always the women that are getting torn down about it?
They're the sluts.
Yeah.
They're the whores, whatever, but nobody, it's just like not even part of the conversation for some reason. It's like, these women don't exist except for the men that want them.
Yes.
Because some women probably do enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
And I definitely can see the appeal of making that much money for what isn't really very physically taxing.
Yeah.
And you can make a lot of money. Some of these girls are making millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
On OnlyFans. So do that for 5 years while you're still hot.
Yeah.
And then you can retire and go do whatever the fuck you want. You could even go back into a corporate job. Who cares? I mean, that's the problem. Somebody might find out you did that and then not give you a job for some reason. But it's
well, I mean, if you make enough, you don't need to go back into a corporate job again.
True.
And then screw that. You don't have to worry about trying to go back into it.
Yeah. And I support sex workers, is what I'm saying. Because I think it's perfectly...
Do we even bring up the fact that you tried it for a while?
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't do phone.
No, you did the,
Text.
chat, the text.
Yeah, it was kind of a scam, I think, too. The agency that I went through,
It was weird.
They were not paying enough. But I was just kind of curious, honestly. So, yeah, this is when I was freelancing and trying out a lot of different things. And I did, text service for, maybe a couple weeks, where these guys would text, and it would be per text, you would get so many cents or whatever, and you would have these conversations, and there would be different platforms where one was looking for a certain kind of woman, and another one was looking for a different kind of mom. There might have been a MILF channel or a barely 18 channel or whatever. I can't really remember. But you're basically pretending to be somebody else because it's girls rotating through the chat. So they think they're talking to the same person and they're not.
Right.
And that was part of the thing that kind of bothered me about it was we're lying to them, to the men that were on this. I didn't like that.
I thought it was more because the way that they would, it wasn't one guy would come on and have a conversation to you and you were acting like this character the whole time. It was that he was saying a message, you were getting one of those messages to respond. Then his next message might go to somebody else.
It was
so it was really hard for you even to respond because you don't have an idea what the text was going.
Right, you have to go back in the history and see what they'd said already.
Which is kind of a weird way to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they did it that way. But yeah, I didn't last long because it wasn't very good money for one. I thought I could text faster than I could because of the system.
Yeah.
If it was actually just me texting back and forth with someone, I could totally do lots of messages. But it was you would click into one conversation, talk with them maybe once or twice back, and then it would switch you to another conversation. And I don't know if that was a anonymity. Is that the right word? Anonymity?
Yeah.
A security measure.
Yeah, it's a security thing so that they couldn't just be cryptically giving information or I don't know. Well, in the movie though, she actually gets a regular client, Katie does, that ends up being her boyfriend, or she goes on a date with him and whatever, but so maybe they're trying to prevent that from happening.
Maybe. That could be. I definitely think that whole part of the movie is kind of weird, but
it is.
The guy's sweet, and he doesn't turn out to be a creep. And
but okay, that's a. But the guy in the movie, you're right. Yeah. He's a very sweet guy, and he definitely comes across as he's a super shy guy too. Mm-hmm. He's not very outgoing to go get a bunch of girls, and so that's why he's calling on this line is because he's just lonely. Mm-hmm. Which you said when you were doing the texting thing, most of the time you were I just feel bad for these guys. They're just really lonely.
Yeah, they just want somebody to talk to them and like pay attention to them. And the fact that we were like kind of lying to them because it was like a different girl he was talking to every time. And, you know, they probably have like some generic photo that he thinks he's talking to.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't like that part either. Because, yeah, I just think like, you know, sex work should be as honest as any other work.
Yeah.
They should know who they're talking to and whatever. And like, even some of them would recommend that you like allude to meeting up with them, but you never do.
Oh.
And that one was really mean.
Yeah.
Like, I can avoid meeting up with someone, like, you know, I get that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, no, I'm busy, whatever. Because I don't think they really expect you to meet up with them, no matter how many times they ask you. But then when you start going, oh, we should meet up,
Oh, trying to get, yeah.
trying to just keep them on the line, and I didn't like that because I knew that nobody was going to show up, and he's already probably, like, sad. And
Yeah. Sad and
Lonely.
lonely, and then he gets stood up on top of it.
yeah.
Yeah. That's probably.
I'm sure that's probably part of being, you know, this job, too. Like, I'm sure that there were people that were calling that were kind of sad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think, like, that's a service that those guys need.
Yeah.
I remember watching a documentary one time from, like, actual physical sex workers, like hookers, and them talking about how a lot of what they had were, yeah, just, like, sad, lonely dudes, or, like, a lot of disabled patient or clients, I guess, that, like, maybe, you know, they were in a wheelchair or whatever and had a hard time dating, and or, like, maybe they even are, like, a little developmentally
Yeah.
slow. You know, they still want to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or you still just. Oh my God, this is a whole other show in its own.
Yeah.
That we. That's a whole other.
Are you talking
flicking
about
beast.
legit?
Legit,
Yeah.
yeah. That was a perfect scenario, though,
Mhm.
where it was like he was a quadriplegic his whole
Mhm.
life. He just wants to know, what is it like, you
Yeah.
know? And I mean, a part of you, like, understands that.
Yeah,
and
I do. I think that people that don't understand that don't think of those people as full human beings. What else? I think one of my questions that I wrote down was, whenever we watch bunny movies like this, I always feel like we have to decide which one I'm more like and which one you're more like.
Okay.
So which one do you think I am
Um,
versus you?
I don't know. Their characters are definitely a blend in different directions. Like, there's a part of Lauren, that whole, like, corporate business side of her that is definitely me.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think to some degree that, I don't know, the stripper pole in the, Katie has a stripper pole that she has in one of her, I don't know if that's like a dining room or something.
Yeah.
And she's out there exercising it. That's definitely also something more like I've done before. So I don't know. What do you think?
I would lean towards that you're more like Lauren and I'm more like Katie.
Yeah, I can
Just
see that.
because of
Well, you kind of already did the phone sex
right.
thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's...
I was, willing to try things like that in my freelancing days. It's going to come out later that I was actually a hooker. Don't tell the cops.
Don't tell the cops.
No, but I mean,
It was all consensual.
I never felt like hot enough to be a hooker otherwise, or a stripper, you know? Otherwise, I probably would have done it, you know? And if OnlyFans had been a thing when we were like in our early 20s,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I might have tried it just to see.
We were pretty advanced in the curve for our age, but clearly not enough. We should have jumped on that bandwagon early.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, we were friends. Were we friends? We're like, our friendship is about as old as YouTube.
yes.
So it's like, that wasn't a thing. Like, social media was barely a thing, like, when we were in our 20s. It was
Right.
a thing, but, like, not like it is now.
Right.
And, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't as easy to, I mean, we probably could have become porn stars if we wanted.
We could have. Well, I just think about even if we would have, just to any level, recorded any of the ridiculous shit we were doing.
Like, if we had known that we could have made a YouTube channel out of it.
Yeah. Like do you remember when we were leaving California and they were like, "Hey, let's get an RV and just travel." And in my head at that point in time, I'm like, I have no idea where to begin with that. Like that concept has never came into my mind ever in my life. There's no way I can do that. And at that point, I'm like, I have like $600 in my bank account,
Right.
and so it wasn't possible. But I think about that all the time. What if that would have happened? What if we would have just gone all in, gotten an RV,
Figured it
and
out.
traveled? And then, I mean, we would have been in the early social media traveling.
Yeah, I really wanted to, but yeah, it was the same thing, just like financially.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it work. I wanted to. I thought for a second about living out of my car, but I did have a cat, and you can't really like live
Yeah.
out of your car with a cat because you can't leave it in there.
Yeah. And I
You
had
know?
Milo. I had
Yeah, you
The
had a dog
dog.
still. So that was kind of my, financially, I couldn't really afford a rig, and
those were our excuses at the time anyway.
right. Well, now I have more adult money now.
Yeah.
Than I did when I was. Well, I guess at that point we were like 30, but still,
Yeah.
I was still poor.
I was
30 seems so young now.
but now I'm just like, fuck, we were going to be poor no matter what. We should have just fucking done it
yeah,
and just been like, we'll figure it out.
I mean that's how we did most other things.
Yeah. I mean, we would have found some way to figure it out. And there was definitely a whole lot more whiskey in the bottom of that last few
Ooh.
swallows than there was
I
in the
know.
top. Holy shit.
I hope I'm even making sense right now. I'm starting to really feel the whiskey.
Are you?
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, what else do we have to say about this movie? I think we've kind of
I think we've
you
covered
know,
it all.
Let me make sure I didn't have like some kind of really good notes because
You were taking a lot
I'm
of notes when we were watching.
Oh, simple is not a compliment. Yeah, she tries to get back to. Her ex tries to get back with her, Lauren,
Yes.
the boring guy, and she's sitting there and he's telling this story and it doesn't go anywhere.
Oh my
and
God. It
so
lasts
bad.
forever.
It really is bad. And he is speaking of tangents, and then she's just like, "You are so boring," and he calls her.
He calls her simple.
That's
Like he's trying to win her back by saying,
Mhm.
my life was just so simple with you and you're so simple. And she is at that moment like, yeah, you're right, you are boring. And
First of all, I don't think any woman is that simple.
not really.
I think guys think they are because women have been conditioned to like
not complain, not talk
exactly.
about their feelings, not
not
share their
not rock the boat.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think some women think that women are simple, and they're not. And I don't think there's a woman on the planet that would appreciate being called that.
No.
It was not cool.
No.
I do have one more thing that I would like to. Well, I have a couple questions still.
Okay.
But the one thing that I would like to talk about back is, the friendship that they have. And there's this really awkward but sweet scene where Lauren tells Katie that she loves her.
Yes.
And Katie doesn't say it back.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, we don't, movies don't, it's always romantic love.
Yeah.
There's buddy movies, but you don't get a lot of scenes like that where it's like, oh, I'm actually just like, I'm saying I love you for the first time to a friend,
Yeah.
and I think that was really sweet.
That is really sweet. And you're right. Like if I think back to, there's always the actual romantic love.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the love between like parents and their kids or even sibling movies. But not just like two girlfriends that
Yeah.
it's not a sexual thing, it's not it's literally like a true friendship. They both understand each other and they both are there helping each other out to get through the world.
Yeah, I love that.
I do too.
I love you.
I love you.
Thanks for saying it back. I've said it lots of times. I don't know if the first time
Usually
I
it
said
comes
it.
out, I love you so much. It hurts."
Exactly. That was going to be the same. I'm not sure if that's the first time I told you I love you, but it's definitely the most memorable time. So one time, it was St. Patrick's Day,
Uh-huh.
and Coop had just had knee surgery, so she couldn't go
I
out.
was not
So she's
out.
like, if you go out, give me a call. Pick
I
you
was
up.
on codeine meds and they
Yeah.
told me I couldn't drink. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I was very intoxicated, as you are on St. Patrick's Day usually. And I called her, and I was like, "Thank you, I love you so much. It hurts."
She just yelled it like the whole way up, like the whole way, like walking away from the car, walking to the car. It was funny.
Yeah.
So now that's just the running joke. One of the
Exactly.
many thousands of running jokes.
Yeah. So, would you recommend this to your friends? to watch?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
I would absolutely recommend. Honestly, I forget about it. I did think it was funny when I met James and I found out he had actually watched it.
Yeah.
He thought it was a good movie because normally he doesn't watch that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's a good friendship movie. It's a
Mhm.
good feel good movie. I like stuff like that when I'm, stressed or
Mhm.
exhausted. Just
Yeah, it's definitely a feel good movie. And like, if you are 5 years old, like us, and you think raunchy humor is funny,
yes,
you'll love it.
yeah,
Because it definitely does have like a little bit of like 12-year-old, haha, they're talking about sex humor. But I personally love that. So,
Yeah.
if that's
Yeah.
not your thing, maybe this movie isn't for you. But like we said in the beginning, it really is about friendship. It's not a movie about a sex line.
no,
It's just like that's the, underlying storyline that gives you chance to make some jokes. But it's really about these two girls that like become besties and like especially how intimate a female friendship can be.
mm-hmm.
I feel like, I'm not a male and I'm not in a male friendship, but just from what I've observed, women tend to have like much more intimate friendships than dudes.
Yes, yeah,
It makes me kind of sad though, because I love that I have friends that I can be like really vulnerable and intimate with and like run a sex line with without getting embarrassed.
yeah.
Although I don't know if I could do a 3-way phone sex call with you. I would laugh too much. Like, how do you keep a straight face?
Stripper poles and phone sex, and there's a lot of dildos that make appearances as well.
So many weird,
Very large ones.
large and bedazzled ones.
I like the big ones on the coffee table.
Yeah,
when
her
the parents
parents.
come over and they're like, "Oh, we're hosting a bachelorette party,"
Right.
and I mean these things are like bigger than like flower vases.
Yeah, they're huge. They're like 2 feet tall, at least. And then there's a love story in there too, but it's not the main
no.
line.
Honestly, the love story side of it, I think, with the guy, I mean, it wasn't bad, but I think they could have left it out, and it wouldn't have really affected
Yeah,
the movie
and
at all.
like, did she have to be a virgin?
No,
I didn't really like that part.
that kind of just almost was like, like they felt like somehow they had to make her less slutty by being like, "Oh, you're a phone sex
Yeah,
operator." But yet you've never actually had sex. Was that their way of
Yeah.
like making her less actual slutty? I
Right.
don't know.
I think maybe, and I don't like it.
No,
think-
I don't think it was necessary.
First of all, like being someone in your 20s and having sex does not make you. I didn't think it was necessary. Just like, have you ever watched 50 Shades of Grey or read the book?
Yes.
She's a virgin.
Yeah.
Why? There's no reason
There
for
didn't
it.
need to be.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a virgin either. Let me say that. But like, truly, like, it's fine. It felt forced.
Yeah. Well, there's no need for it in a movie. Like it's anymore. You're just
She can just choose to take it slow without ever talking about the fact that she's a
yeah, exactly. Like why not her just being like, you know what, I want this relationship to be more real. So
Mhm.
I want to take things slower so it's not like I'm so slutty. And, like why not
Yeah.
leave it like that?
Yeah, and
Like
also,
a normal human would be, not like, hey, the reason I don't want to have sex with you for the first couple of weeks we date is just because I've never had sex before.
right. Yeah. Yeah, it would be totally normal to you to wait a couple weeks for somebody that you met on the phone to just make sure you know each other because you've only talked on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so thumbs up. We both say go watch this. It's for a good time call from 2012. It's out there. How did we watch it?
Amazon. It was like a
Amazon.
$3 rental on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's worth it, $3.
Mm-hmm.
It's entertaining enough for that. And
Usually we end by saying, everybody loves flicking beans together. Are you willing to do that with me?
sure,
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
everybody
Everybody loves
flicking
frickin' beans. Okay, love you. Bye.